So I was going to start this video, but then I noticed that this is really dirty, and so now I'm gonna wash it. But of course there's a chance of rain and not that long. Whatever. I also didn't bring my key. Whoops. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nice. Alright, well the 350Z is looking pretty good. I hit the front bumper with some bug and tar remover as I got back. Everything's looking pretty good. I don't think I had shown this yet. I actually am almost certain I haven't shown it yet. But I finally painted this grill mesh black. I probably could have done a much better job masking this, so I might kind of sort of redo this piece right here, this kind of support at some point to make that line a little bit straighter, because I'm not really happy with that right now. But as far as the paint on the grill mesh and how it's held up, everything seems to be really good, so nothing to complain about with that. I definitely want to touch some paint stuff up though this summer, hopefully. Like, I want to finally sand all the way through this crack and kind of sort of fix this clear coat, because I tried to sand through it a little bit and hope that it would sort of disappear, but it didn't really work. You can't really hardly feel it anymore, but it's still there. So I'm probably gonna have to sand all the way down to the weave, which they tell you should never ever do, but I'm gonna. And I'm gonna try and sort of touch up this, I'm gonna try and sort of touch up this carbon fiber weave that's been exposed under the crack and has sort of bleached in color. It's kind of one of those things where if I go ahead and try and fix it and it works, then awesome. I saved like 800 bucks on a hood. However, if it doesn't work, then whatever, the hood was already cracked. It's probably not gonna get much worse. I've also got some other paint stuff that I probably should work on. However, this whole panel is gonna have to be repainted. And if I do that, I might as well repaint the back bumper. And dang it, stupid watermarks. Because the rear bumper has some cracks and stuff in it too. Like here and here especially, that really need to be fixed. Also, I have no idea why this doesn't fit. I'm very confused because I was pretty sure this was the stock bumper and this is the stock light, so not sure what's up with that. Also, my hatch's paint looks really bad. I'm hoping I can kind of sort of take a clay bar to it and get a lot of the contaminants out of it. And same thing for the spoiler, and then hopefully just give the whole car a good buff and get the paint looking at least a little bit better than it does right now. I know obviously imperfections like these cracks and stuff, this scratch which is kind of deep, and this giant chippy piece aren't gonna look better, but I'm hoping it'll kind of get rid of a lot of the little tiny scratches and annoying stuff on the paint. This panel is pretty good because this panel was repainted. It's already got a scratch from something right there that you probably can't really see, but for the most part, in the front everything's pretty good. I just need to sort out some of the paint stuff in the back, and then obviously this giant crack. Forget everything that I said that I wanted to have done on this car this summer. Completely new plan. I'm not sure if I said this in video, but the first couple things that I really want to have done on this car this summer is a few suspension things. I'd love to have sway bars, bushings, and especially, first things first, some better brakes for this car as soon as I can this summer. Sorry for the wind noise, it's super windy. Go figure. However, what I really hope to do and what I'm gonna be saving for is to do a complete engine rebuild of this. Hopefully this winter. Not just an engine rebuild, but an engine build. So what I originally wanted to do was throw a turbo at this thing and see if I could run kind of a mild amount of boost. But since this engine already has 163,000 miles, it runs great, it still has good oil pressure, it seems to have good compression, but I don't really want to just blow it up, personally. I know everyone says, like, if you have a high mile engine, you might as well just boost it and then blow it up and then rebuild it. But to me, I don't want to blow up my car at an inconvenient time and then have no money and not have a car forever, because knowing my luck, that's exactly what will happen. So, the plan is, hopefully, I'm going to be able to save up enough money this summer and start working on building the engine in the winter. So, what exactly do I mean by building the engine? I mean complete engine build. I don't want to build it for like 1,000 horsepower or something, but build it so that I can run a high compression, decently high horsepower NA build, and then if I ever do want to throw a turbo at it, the engine will be able to handle that as well. So as far as engine build components go, I'm thinking to do boiiiss high compression pistons, like 11.1 compression ratio, and along with that, Eagle connecting rods. They have really good deals on them as a combo on Concept Z Performance, which is probably where I'm going to get most of the stuff from the build from, as well as Z1 and, well, a lot of different places, to be honest. Going to get all new connecting rod bearings, as well as thrust washers, all the everything. I have it all written down, but I can't remember everything off the top of my head. Get some Juke head studs, which surprisingly are actually much better than the 350Z head studs, and they're quite a bit cheaper than the ARP head studs, because I'm going to be honest, guys, I don't want to cheap out on this build, but anywhere where I can get away with slightly cheaper things and my engine will still be okay, I'm probably going to do it. Probably going to run stock head gaskets for a while, but I'm going to completely replace all the gaskets in the engine. The OEM head gaskets apparently are still fairly good up to about 500 horsepower, but there's a lot of better options. Like I think HGS makes head gaskets for it, I think Tomei makes head gaskets, and those would be the ones that I'd probably end up going with if ever I wanted to boost this and was more worried about the head gasket blowing, but I really doubt that'll happen when it's naturally aspirated. Probably still go with the stock crank, so that's pretty much right there, a built bottom end. I mean, I left out a lot of stuff. We've got like main bolts and everything, but that alone, with everything that I have in my list of things I need to buy, is a built bottom end. So what about the top end of the motor? Well, I think I'm gonna have my heads basically like tested and cleaned and make sure they're still working well, and then I'm going to be throwing some high performance, some stiffer valve springs, because what I really want to do is run some Tomei 272 duration camshafts on both the intake and exhaust side, and they'll probably both have 10.5 lift, or at least the closest to it, and that should be a pretty decent power adder. I mean, it won't add like 1,000,000 horsepower or anything, but it'll at least give it a decent bump, and then with a better tune and lightened internals and everything, that should help. Probably gonna do a lighter weight crank pulley and lightweight flywheel with a better clutch, and hopefully that should be about it for the engine build. Probably gonna be some like headers and like intake stuff, but those are miscellaneous items that might come a little bit later. But what I'm really trying to do is the ultimate reliable car that I could drive daily and it won't be absolutely miserable. Personally, I don't really care about ride comfort. That's why I'm thinking of going with energy suspension, polyurethane bushings, as well as I'm thinking maybe like Hotchkiss sway bars with some better sway bar end links. And eventually I'd like to do BC Racing coilovers, but coilovers are something that I don't want to cheap out on. And like I said, BC Racing, I mean, they're known as a budget coilover, but what really is budget? Because let's be realistic, they're still $1,000, and that's a lot of money. Other than that, for the most part, there's some exterior and interior stuff that I'd like to do. As far as exterior, I'm not sure I'm going to talk about that much because that'll probably be kind of pushed off for a while. I'm not going to do the typical wide body thing or anything like that. But as far as interior, I really want to get some fixed back bucket seats, because I like these seats. They're fine, but they're not exactly the best fit for me and my like frame and everything, because I'm 6'4", and these seats are not designed for someone 6'4". The headrest ends like just at the top of my neck. So I'd really like to get some seats that are kind of better for me personally. And I don't want to get reclinable seats again, because They're really not that much lighter than the stock seats, which is just crazy because the stock seats are electric and heated, and they weren't even that much heavier. So new seats and everything. Might just do a couple other like interior things just to make it look a little bit nicer, but I think that's about all that we have planned for the 350Z build right now. I do also want to say before I end this video, because I totally forgot to say this as I was recording it, but there's also a lot of fuel system stuff that I want to do as well. Like I'm probably going to do GTR injectors. I think they're 550cc, which is pretty good, which means that I could run a mild turbo setup if I ever wanted to in the future. I'm probably going to do an AEM 340 liter per hour. Is that what it is? I don't even remember. Fuel pump, and possibly some flex fuel stuff, because if while NA I could run E85, that'd be awesome, because that would give a decent-ish power bump as well. And also the stuff that I said about like doing the clutch and everything, I know that if I ever turboed it that stuff would have to change, but I think that this is the original clutch, and I don't really want to have to replace it later if we run quite a bit more power NA, because I think that would be super irritating. No one wants to do a clutch job, even though I don't think it's the worst thing in the 350Z, but I don't really want to have to worry about it. Also, another thing is, because there's a possibility that I might go turbo someday, I don't think I'm going to do long tube headers. I'm probably going to do shorty headers with test pipes, which realistically won't make that much of a difference. Everyone that tells you that long tube headers are the way to go, they'll make so much more power, the difference is so marginal that if you think there's a possibility that you're ever going to go turbo, just do shorty headers, because then you'll be able to use them for the turbo setup as well. Plus, test pipes are cheap if you don't get like Motordyne ART pipes or something like that, so you know, if you ever get rid of them by going turbo, big deal. Now this is the plan, but I don't know how exactly everything's going to follow through, because I don't have much money. I'm not rich by any means. I need to save up for things just like everyone else. So it might be quite a while before that kind of whole process actually starts. That does not mean that I'm not going to have videos for this car this summer, because things like the brakes, I have an awesome cheap big brake kit that I'd love to show you guys that's fairly common, but there's a way that you can get it even cheaper, as well as the seats and a couple other things. So, hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did and you're excited for the future with the 350Z build, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date on that. And I thank every single one of you guys for watching. It really means a lot to me that people click on the video and comment, you know, say hi, check out what I have to say and my personal car build. So thank you to every single one of you guys, and I will see you guys later.